Oh my gosh, hi! I'm Alex Pearl, this is Alex Smells, and today, a very special surprise for my Aunt Jan. So Jan has been telling me about Forever Krystle for years, saying that it was her favorite perfume, it's the only one that she's ever really been into, and she always wanted me to give it a try. So I did find a bottle at a decent price, and I picked it up so that I could review it and then send the bottle to Jan as a gift. So it's on its way to you, Jan. And before I get too much into it, I do want to know, did you ever wear Forever Krystle? Is this something that you have some experience with? Tell me what your thoughts are, tell me how you liked it, tell me if you didn't like it. Forever Krystle was released in 1984 by Charles of the Ritz. Instead of under themselves, they said that it was from Carrington Perfumes, which actually worked out in their favor because they wound up selling the license to distribute it to Yves Saint Laurent, and they sold it to Revlon before it was finally discontinued. So this fragrance was made as a reflection of the character Krystle Carrington from the television show Dynasty, and she was portrayed by Linda Evans. Linda Evans had said in an interview with Rachel Ray some years ago that she had an active hand in selecting the final formulation of Forever Krystle, and I thought that was really cool. Unfortunately though, I have no information about the nose behind Forever Krystle, so if you know anything, please let me know, comment, something, DM me on one of the social media platforms, anything that you can, just let me know. So the concentration of this bottle is eau de toilette, and the batch code is 3Y1. The packaging might not be anything revolutionary. The bottle design and the cap design aren't wowee, incredible, but the cap specifically, I wanted to mention that it's held together incredibly well with time. Even after all these years, it can still hold the bottle just by suspending it by the cap, which is nice. The cap actually has some heft to it, some weight to it. It feels durable, it feels solid. Unlike a lot of the less expensive fragrances of the era, which could have really thin plastic caps that would fall apart in time, or super thin metal caps that just felt cheap. The atomizer, speaking of cheap, the atomizer is super no frills. It gets the job done though, so I can't really complain about it too much. It's been almost 40 years, and it's still going strong. It's still able to spray just fine, so can't really complain there. And this might sound kind of dumb, but I always feel like it's important. The bottle fits really comfortably into the hand. You never feel like you're gonna drop it. It never feels clumsy. And because of its slim rectangular design, it could fit even into a small bag and not take up a ton of room. So how exactly does Forever Krystle smell? Let's start with the accords. The accords as I smell them are sweet, amber, green, musk, flora, both white flora and rose, powdery. It is very much powdery. There is some wood action going on, and it is also a little bit aldehydic. Now, how about the notes as I smell them? Before I jump into the list, and there's a lot going on there, I wanted to say that the lists online come up woefully short. I noticed a lot more going on in this fragrance than the notes listed online might suggest. All right, so there's a lot of notes going on here, so bear with me. I smell clean white musk. I smell amber, sharp mimosa, maybe even a little bit of galbanum, something medicinal, something camphorous. It might be like guaiac wood, I'm not really sure. Heliotrope, just a tiny bit. Tonka, like a ton of Tonka. A little bit of like clean laundry detergent aldehydes. There's some vanilla. There's a lot of cosmetics powder smelling iris, creamy lily of the valley, and some pretty bold, heady stargazer lily, rose, benzoin. I get at the very, very tail end of the dry down, I do get like the barest whisper, like just a suggestion of civet, and tree moss, specifically tree moss and not oak moss. They have a very different mouthfeel to them. So what is it that comes to mind when I smell Forever Krystle? The very first thing that comes to mind is the expression like fluffy puffy, because it's really like poofy and floofy. It just, if you've smelled it, then you totally know what I'm talking about. I promise. I'm not crazy. It just, if you've smelled it, you know. What else comes to mind? The colors mauve, cream, and something like a pastel chartreuse. Forever Krystle is kind of a confusion. I don't think that she entirely knows who she wants to be. And the incongruence here in this perfume reminds me of the kind of like clashy incongruence in Fancy Nights. Forever Krystle and Fancy Nights have something in common in that they've both got this like greenery meets gourmand thing going on, which is, it's kind of tough to get that just right. And I don't feel like either one, just like neither one satisfied me. That like cosmetics powder iris and the Tonka vanilla combo, which comes off as a bit like bubblegummy here, and the like fluffy puffiness of the like white musk on top of all of the creaminess of the white flora, and like all of those elements kind of go together well. But then you've got on the other side this like camphorous wood, which I don't know what to do with, and then the like sharp yellows and greens, which again, like I just kind of didn't know what to do with them. So for those of you that have never smelled Forever Krystle, and I'm willing to bet there are a fair few of you who haven't, when I first smelled it on my skin, it reminded me of a handful of other fragrances in my collection, but kind of like all of them at the same time. It reminded me of the Eau de Toilette formulation of Shalimar, with like a half of a spray of the contemporary formulation of Jean 2, and then some Taboo thrown in there, and a little bit of like Esprit d'Oscar, and then some Anais, like all at the same time, trying to get through the same doorway at the same time. When I said that it's kind of a confusion, it is. And I have no idea like how or why this fizzy cola vibe is coming off. Kind of like I get the same kind of vibe off of Taboo a little bit, where you get that like kind of root beery, kind of RC cola thing, and I'm not sure what's doing it here, but it's doing. And the soda cola vibe is kind of weird, contrasted with the like creamy white flora of the lily of the valley and the stargazer lily. So Forever Krystle draws on a lot of tropes and established themes that had been around in perfumery, that had, you know, been a thing previously. And you can do that, but you know, you're ensuring that an audience kind of understands where you're coming from and that the fragrance is going to be more marketable, sure. But you also run the risk of seeming a bit derivative, even seeming dated. Not surprisingly, something that does come to mind when I smell Forever Krystle is Krystle Carrington herself, because the fragrance really, it mirrors her aesthetic and her demeanor surprisingly well. This perfume really does suit Krystle Carrington's unusual hair formation and like her goody-goody sainted image. But you know what? I gotta say this. I was always a bigger fan of Dominique. I am a Dominique Devereaux ho. And where's her tribute perfume? Seriously. Because, like, if there was any character that deserved one, it was her. I am such a Dominique stan. Like, somebody out there has got to make this happen. It would be so good. Just, please, make it. Please. Alright, so coming back to it, how about those ratings? Well, as far as scent goes, I would give Forever Krystle like a C-, D+. It's not that I dislike it, because I don't dislike it, but I don't like it either. I'm ambivalent. The notes involved in Forever Krystle are just fine, but as we all know, a perfume is more than just a list of notes. It's the way in which those notes are utilized, their balance, the overall composition. And I feel like even though the notes themselves are good, the way in which they've been used here is just kind of like, nah. As far as projection goes, I'm going to give Forever Krystle a C-. If you hold out your arm at your side and you take a look at like about how far away your wrist is, that's how far away that this scent cloud is going to emanate. You could read up about this online. You may have. And if you do, you're going to see a lot of people talking about this expansive projection, but it's not that. It's not like it's going to take over a room. It's not like it's going to be suffocating for other people. If anything, it might be a bit suffocating for you, because even though that scent cloud isn't very large, it is dense. It could choke you out before it chokes other people out, if that makes sense. As far as longevity goes, I'm gonna give Forever Krystle a C, because it lasts for about 3 to 4 hours on skin before it needs a touch-up in order to maintain, noticeable projection. And that is much better than I thought it would have been, especially given, the amount of time that's passed. It really has maintained its integrity well. Overall, I'm gonna give Forever Krystle a D+. It did not suit me, it was not to my taste, but in this case, it's actually better that way, because I didn't intend to keep it. This was supposed to be a gift. If I'd fallen head over heels in love with it, that would have made parting ways with it even harder. So I'm actually kind of thankful that it wasn't for me. By the time that she sees this, this will already be well and on its way through the mail. So happy Hanukkah from me, and Merry Christmas to you, Jan. Merry Christmas to you. Would I buy Forever Krystle again? No. And I don't need to. I was gonna give this one away anyway. Closing thoughts. So I wanted to head something off before it hits the comments section. I'm sure that there are people out there that are gonna get stuck in their feelings and say, well, how could you give this a negative review if this is your auntie's favorite? Why would you do that? That's mean. But to them, I would say there's a couple of things to keep in mind here. So first thing to bear in mind, there is zero bullshit with Jan. And she can also tell if somebody else is trying to hand her a load of crap, and she does not appreciate that. So the last thing that I'd want to do is water down my review or hand her something disingenuous, because this was made to be half of the gift. Second thing to bear in mind, there is precious little bullshit with me. If you know me in person, you know that I can be painfully blunt and to the point. And I like that I'm able to tell the truth from my own perspective without varnish or BS. It's freeing. I like that. And just because I didn't fall over in love with Forever Krystle doesn't mean that I care about Jan any less. In fact, it means that I care enough about her to tell her what I thought, make a video of it, and send her the fragrance. I know that she loves it, and we don't have to love the exact same stuff. We have different tastes in things. That's okay. She knows that I love her. She's not going to take it personally that I didn't love Forever Krystle, and neither should you. Anyway, thank you for watching. What did you think of Forever Krystle? Did you smell it in the past? Tell me what your thoughts are, good, bad, or ugly. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I love you, and goodbye for now. Every time I'm filming, it's always the garbage truck thing.